Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and I hope you're doing well. So today's video is slightly different because I wanted to start a new series called My Hospital Experience and just tips and advice of different things that might happen to you, whether you're in a hospital or you're having an operation, or if you do have a serious condition and you're in a children's hospital but then you have to transition to an adult hospital. And yeah, it's kind of like I just want to share my experience with you guys and just share some tips. So I thought I would do this as a series rather than like a whole video, because there are so many different things I want to talk about. It's just easier if I film different videos so you can choose which one will be useful to you. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. And the first video of the series is my experience of having an operation and the do's and don'ts of what to do before having an operation, and yeah, just to say what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and yeah, I hope it's useful and let's get started. The first thing that you should really do is be prepared to ask loads of questions. So if you know you're having an operation in, let's say, 2 weeks, just maybe have some questions prepared for either your pre-assessment or pre-anesthetic appointment. That way you've kind of like gone into it knowing that you'll get some answers and you'll probably feel more secure. And I always did this, but because I was quite nervous of speaking to the doctors, I would always get like my parents to ask them, which is perfectly fine as well. So just make sure you have loads of different questions, because they're not going to know you're nervous or that you want to know stuff unless you ask for it. So you've just got to ask for it. And if you go to the same hospital and you might know the same nurse, maybe just ask them, or if it's someone new, maybe just warm up to them a little bit and then you can ask them. But don't feel like you're asking any stupid questions. I used to ask so many stupid questions, but you know what, it's better that you ask them, and then if not, you'll panic more. So it's just better to get them out of the system and just keep asking loads of questions, because that way you won't feel as nervous. The second thing that you should do is prepare a bag. I think that you should do that regardless whether you're staying overnight or it's just a day surgery, because there are so many things that you might need. For example, if you need to take medication, if you might have like something to do while you're waiting, because I always used to take a book to read. What else did I take? I took like a notepad, because then me and my mum or dad would like play like hangman or whatever, like just like little games like that. And then I would obviously take either my laptop or my iPad, and then I would download movies and stuff. So yeah, there's quite a few different things that you might want to take, and I'm definitely going to do a video on that, by the way, of like what to prepare for a hospital bag, just so that you know it in more detail. It's so important to have that, because you'll probably need so many random little things that obviously the hospital might not have. So definitely prepare a bag. And linking on to that, another thing that you should have before an operation is make sure you bring your favourite food, because I think this was so important to me. Like when I used to have all the operations, also I had quite a lot of them when I was younger especially, and I used to wake up and I was like, you just want your own food rather than the hospital food, because I was never a fan of that, especially for vegetarians. I was never a huge fan, and I like spicy food and I've always loved it. So I used to get these like spicy corn, like sweet corn type thing, and I used to always have them. So I used to like obviously buy it and then have it after the operation, and that really did help me, especially recovering as well, because I just felt like I was more at home. So definitely take food that you like, or like a drink maybe, but obviously you can't have it beforehand because that's not very good. Another thing that you should do is to make sure you already plan out what you're going to do while you're waiting, because the wait can be so long. Like I used to have to get there at like 8:30 in the morning, and I wouldn't have my operation until like 4 or 5 o'clock. So obviously that's a long time, and if you're someone like me who gets so nervous, like so nervous, you're going to need to keep yourself busy. So last year, like when it was my GCSE time and I had the emergency operation and I still had to wait ages throughout the day, I would bring revision, and like, okay, that might be a bit lame to do, but you know what, that kept me so busy. And I bought revision that I really enjoyed, so I did PE revision, and I would also bring my iPad, which was like linking to the other point, but just make sure you download movies and stuff like that, and just bring in whatever. Honestly, if it's a colouring book, bring it in. Like, honestly, no one judges you when you're in hospital. Like, no one should judge you ever, but especially in hospital, no one will judge you. Like, they're all going to know, especially, that you will be feeling nervous and you just want to be in your comfort zone. So just bring anything that you want that will help you feel comfortable. Another thing that you should do is make sure you tell them that you're nervous or that you're really anxious about the operation. So you could tell them at any time. It may be that's when they tell you you need the operation, or when you have your pre-assessment clinic, like or pre-anesthetic appointment, or on the day. At any point you just have to tell them, because they'll find ways to help you. At Moorfields, the nurse, I was telling her, because my dad had to come a bit late, like half an hour, so I was by myself for a little bit, and she was checking my vitals and stuff before the anaesthetist came. But she was like asking me how I was feeling, and I told her I was nervous, and then she kind of kept me calm as well. And she was really so sweet, and I'm so happy I told her I was nervous, because she came with me to the anaesthetic room, and when I woke up she was there. And it's just nice telling them that, because they know how they kind of help you as well. So just tell them that you're nervous, and hopefully when you tell someone, they will either help you feel better, but you'll know that you've told someone. So like, if you do ever feel like you're gonna have a panic attack or something and that you need to go somewhere for a bit, at least they know, if that makes sense. So do not be ashamed if you're nervous. Like, whatever age, whether you're 5, who obviously wouldn't be watching this video, or like you're 60 or 50 or whatever, just don't be worried about feeling anxious, because it's so normal. Another thing that you should make sure your parents are aware of is the fact that it's your operation, it's your body. Therefore, if you want to be, you should be involved with the doctor when asking questions, and making sure that the doctor's giving you the eye contact and not your parents. So I know as a teenager I was like quite scared beforehand, so I'd always make sure that it was my parents and the doctor. But in the last year or so, when I've had my operations, I've been like, oh look, it's my body now. I know I'm old enough to understand it. Can you please talk to me, regardless of my parents, who are obviously older than me, but I want to be the one that you're talking to. Especially when I had the operation last year, I was like walking into it like being like, oh, it's okay, it's not too scary. Whereas the other one, it was a complete mess. Another thing that you should do is always talk to your parents or carers about how you're feeling. Like, I know these points all link together, but at the end of the day, they're there for you, and you might be feeling nervous, but they're also going to be feeling nervous for you, because they care for you so much. And the one thing that I was always like scared of was telling my parents how I felt, because I didn't want to make them worried. Like, I think all my friends would know that I was so nervous for my operations, but I would never tell them. And I think you definitely need to talk to them, because I had a massive breakout 2-3 months ago to my parents when I had to go to hospital, and I let it all out. And you know what, talking to them was the best thing about it, and I wish I did that beforehand, because honestly I just remember I was crying to my parents so much, like getting everything out about my condition, about how I felt, and how I didn't want to go to hospital because I hated it. But it was so good. So just tell your parents how you feel, and just be honest with them, because they'll be able to help you, and if they know you're anxious, they can find ways to help you as well. Another thing that you should be prepared for is that recovery can be slow, and that you could feel a lot of pain. Obviously your doctors should tell you how long your recovery would be, or your pain and stuff, but just make sure you're prepared for that, and thinking that you won't be out there and then, like, you might have to wait. I didn't really fully acknowledge that, which obviously made it harder. But like last year it was better than the year before, because I was like, okay, because it's an eye operation, I do need to rest and I need to take it slower. The year before, I had the eye operation, like it was like a major eye operation, and then I went to a party the next day in the evening, and I regretted that. Like, I got like so ill after that, and it was like, I know I shouldn't have, but I was like, I didn't want to miss out, so I just went. But yeah, just make sure you know how long your recovery is, and that you should just be careful, because you don't want to mess up the operation after that because of your recovery. Some of the things that you shouldn't really do is not to watch your procedure that you're having online, because I know there'll probably be videos out there, but just please do not watch them, because I think especially from talking to other people that I know, like my hospital friends, and from my experience, is to not watch any of the videos, because you'll get so much more nervous and you'll know what's happening like while you're asleep, and it's just so freaky. Like, oh my god, I wish I never did that for my operation. And the worst thing was that when I did watch the eye operation video on YouTube, below it was another link of someone who woke up during anaesthetic, and that just like made me so scared. And then I obviously watched it and I shouldn't have, and that made me so much more nervous than I needed to be, especially because I've had so many anaesthetics before. So just don't watch it online. Any queries or anything like that, just speak to your doctor, or like ring the hospital up, and that way you can either speak to the nurse or something like that. Just don't watch any of the videos online, because you'll get so scared, and obviously you do not want that. Another obvious thing that you shouldn't obviously do is eat or drink, because obviously that will mess up your lungs apparently. But yeah, that was quite hard. Some of the times I was so hungry, especially when my operation was at like 5 o'clock and I couldn't eat from like 7 AM. That was not good. And my final thing is that don't think that you have to hide your emotions, regardless of what you feel. If you're happy, you're sad, you're crying, you're angry, anything, just don't keep it in, because an operation is such a big thing. It can be such a small operation or such a massive one. Regardless of it, regardless of the operation, you're gonna feel something. And obviously most people will feel nervous, anxious, like feeling panicky, scared, and you might want to cry, and honestly that is fine. And you've just got to realise that if you hide your emotions, it's just going to topple up, and it will make it worse. Do not hide your emotions. Talk to someone, talk to your friends, talk to your parents, like carers, talk to the doctors, nurses, like, or even your teachers at school. You just have to talk to someone about how you're feeling, and maybe they can help you, but even if they don't, at least you've let it out. I think that is it for this video. I hope these tips of what to do and what not to do before an operation have helped you, and I shall see you for my next video. Bye!